Hey everybody. So, we're going to keep the lights low because Graham is resting, but it is time to do the second part of Christine's wedding, and I am super excited to do this with you guys. Let me try to get wiggle to a good spot here. Okay, so we've made it. We've made it to Christine's wedding day, and it is time to party. But before we get started, hi, if you're new here, I'm Cozy. I like to snark on Sister Wives here on YouTube. I do like to remind you this video is for entertainment purposes only. These are just my opinions, not facts about public figures sharing their lives publicly on television. All right, let's go. Okay, so we're going to hop right into the dress reveal. And it's pretty, but it's not exactly what I expected for Christine. Like, I'll be honest, I was kind of expecting a little more fairy tale princess, but she loves it, and that's what matters, so I'm here for it. So she's getting the dress prepared. She looks adorable, and McKelty asks a really awkward question. And it's not awkward except for the phrasing. The phrasing is really awkward. So she's like, on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so now you can ask a lot of things, like how excited are you? How much do you love your dress? All those things. Instead, she says, how many people are going to see you naked? And that's not a scale question. That's a set numerical value. And the numerical value is apparently 0 because Christine's like, get out. She's like, I love you all. Get out. I think she probably could have kept Aspen though, because like, girls saw you give birth to Truly. I don't know that there are many secrets here. David, on the other hand, has been with the guys, and he shares on his walk over that it's so surreal it almost feels like, who's getting married? Oh, right, it's me. And Tony's like, you want the girl? Package deal. And I'm assuming he means all of the family, because we don't actually get the context for that. But Caleb's like, yeah, welcome to the club. And I thought it was just so sweet. I am still unbelievably miffed that Tony looks so utterly unkempt for a wedding. I'm sorry, tuck your shirt in at the bare minimum, something, anything. Caleb's looking good. Gabe's there in a suit. Like, Tony, you look like you're going for a casual evening out at a chain restaurant that got 3 stars on Yelp. Just, he doesn't fit in with the rest of the everything. So Maddie invites the cameras back in to see Christine, and she looks lovely. So they decide all the daughters are going to help zip her up. And so Aspen, McKelty, and Isabel are all right there, and they're calling Maddie over. They're like, come on. And so shot pulls back, and there is Truly just chasing Avalon, playing with her. And I was like, yep, that's it. That's how this is. And so they're clearly having a ton of fun. They touch up Christine's makeup, and they take some pictures of her daughters with her, and everyone looks adorable. And Isabel, like, hugging in Truly. I noticed throughout the entire episode, every time pictures are taken, Isabel's right there, holding Truly, hugging her tight, just sort of, like, being that solid rock. And I get the feeling that that is sort of what Aspen is to Isabel in some ways, because obviously we saw Isabel felt really comfortable to go to Aspen and ask questions that she was concerned about. So I feel like maybe she's trying to be that same rock for Truly, and I'm here for it. And like I said, they all look adorable. And okay, some of y'all came for me because I was not feeling Truly's purple hair. Now, what I think y'all missed is not that I think Truly looks bad. That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is, at her age, we all did something wild and crazy, and we look back later and we're like, ooh, maybe that's not a vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I look back at my purple and blue hair day, because I did. I dyed just the ends purple and blue, but I didn't bleach my hair. So it did not come out okay. And we go, ooh, maybe that wasn't a vibe. Also, I think it's because the purple clashes with the purple of her jumpsuit, which looks so good. Like, that plum purple looks great. But then the bright purple just sort of clashes with that dark purple, and the purple hair is just not a vibe. So, not making fun of Truly. Actually making fun of myself for having done it. So, I do think, though, that those hexagon glasses are brilliant, and I want some. Like, I haven't been wearing my glasses lately. I should probably start wearing them again now that we have everything sort of figured out here. But if I get new ones, I kind of want hexagon glasses. I think I'll look goofy, but I like them. Like, honestly, I just hate a round-shaped glasses because I think that it makes my face look funny. Like, I think the proportions are off. Anyway, neither here nor there. So the second picture they take a picture of all of them together, and the second picture they take, they're all getting close, and Truly kind of cuddles up to her mom, and it is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's fantastic. I don't think anything could be more sweet It is obvious that everyone here really loves Christine and wants to be involved. But they're getting up all prepared at the top of the hill, and it is so chaotic, but under control. It is this controlled chaos that I think that they've just needed their entire lives. So Katie and Reagan are going to walk down with David, which I think is so amazing. And I don't know who that Mohawk kid was up in the front just wandering around, but dude, I'm here for the Mohawk. Great. I'm I'm living for it. It's awesome. Um, so they're showing everybody filing in, and then we get to Rex, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried because I just thought it was so lovely that Christine's dad was here for this, you know? We get a shot of Gabe, Savannah, and Janelle all sitting in a row. And the ladies, Gabe looks great. He's got a lot of emotion on his face, but he looks great. But the ladies, it's just stunning. Do you know those glamour shots where you see like the side profile of somebody superimposed on there? Honest to goodness, you could have told me that this was a picture of Janelle with a superimposed side profile of her as a teenager, and I said, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense, because they've got the same nose, the same eyes, the same cheekbones, all of that. The only difference is their lipstick shades are different, and they're wearing slightly different dresses. I mean, wild. Looks great. So we see Truly bring down the rings, and then we get Peyton with Christine, and once again, I started crying. Peyton tells her that he's a really good man, and he sounds like he's about to cry, so now I'm crying harder. And then Peyton helps Rex up, and now you can see Annie just a row or two ahead, and she's crying, and now I'm crying more, and everybody's crying, because it's just so wonderful for all of this to be going on. I cried a lot. I'm not gonna lie. And then Janelle shows that she got emotional when Christine took Rex's arm. Now I'm crying more. It's just like, he has always been such a huge advocate for our faith. So for him to be here affirming this was kind of amazing. For him to embrace his daughter's choice to walk away and find something else, find happiness, it's a big deal. And it is a big deal. Honestly, it is. And then we're there. We're up at the front, we're ready to go, and Corbin jumps in and he's like, I was so excited to have made it to favorite in-law, and then I realized they just wanted the short in-law so David could look taller. And I was like, yep, that's probably not it, but I love it. I love that you are just like so, in there. And so he says that it's easy to think we know someone when you see just a snapshot of their life. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's super poignant, because we've kind of just done that, We see these moments that are edited down that we see of Christine's life, and we assumed we knew the whole picture for a long time. A lot of us either assumed that Christine was kind of a princess and didn't really want Robin in the beginning, but she came around, or we assumed that Christine was a wife who, while very loved, just needed a lot of extra attention, or felt, that her favorite spot had been taken away from her. We felt a lot of different emotions about Christine. We either felt like she needed justice, or we felt like we didn't like her, or different things based off of what we saw. And now, as we've been through these last 14 years watching this show with them, especially in the last 2 or 3, we've realized we have barely cracked the surface of what was going on behind the scenes. And so I think that's super poignant to throw that out there, especially knowing that it's being filmed. And so he shares stories of David helping neighbors and taking the time to take care of others, skipping meals to plow, or to make a home wheelchair accessible, or just any of these things. And he's like, no one is more perfect to be his other half than our queen, Christine. So he shares Isabel's words about her mother, sharing that Christine's cure for a tough situation with other people is kindness. And he's like, their love is so pure, not just for each other, but for everyone around them. And he really hopes that at the end of the weekend that people will take that away, and that they will go and be the light and lighten someone else's day. And I think that's beautiful. So Truly brings up the rings, and she's handing them off, and she says, you deserve the best, Mother. And I have never liked being called Mother. I have a daughter who does it just to drive me nuts. Mother, Mother, Mother. I'm like, would you stop? Children your age say mommy, relax. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. It was just so honest, so pure coming from Truly. And she's like, I told you to go on purpose. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because it struck an emotion in me when I heard it at first. Because it sounds like she was like giving Christine this push to move on. Or maybe that like when Christine told her about the situation with the divorce, she was like, yeah, you should go. This is going to be okay. We should move on from this. But she hugs her mother so super tight. and then hugs David, and is a little bit awkward at first, but frankly more natural than her hugs with Cody that we've seen recently. So in confessional, Christine says all 13 of her children are very protective of her. And you can hear the huffing and puffing at the Shiro Chateau. See, I told you she never accepted these kids. Like, guys, you guys have made it very clear that Christine has left, that you've moved on from that. I'm sorry. If she's going to say 13, it is probably because she feels disconnected. And I think she really did accept Robin's kids, and I think there was a lot of times she wasn't allowed to fully accept them because nannies, because this reason, because that reason, you know? But we get a confessional where she's like, it meant a lot to have truly hug David in front of everyone to show that she really does love and accept him. And I think that part of that is probably because people are going to be looking to truly, like, you're the only one living at home. You're the only minor child left. Are you comfortable? Are you okay? Are you happy? And so Christine felt like this was kind of the sign of, like, yeah, Truly's letting everybody know I'm okay. I'm happy. So we get the first kiss, and David does this little foot pop, which is kind of cute. But I really get awkward around televised PDA. I don't know what it is. Like, people in my everyday life, I'm like, okay, whatever. But, like, when it's on television, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be looking at this. And so, like, I want to look everywhere but there. I don't know if it has to do with my ADHD or what it is, but, like, I can't. So I really could have done without the slow-mo kiss, but I understand, you know what, it's a wedding special, you're gonna get what you get. So Christine teases David about the leg pop in the confessional, and it's super sweet. And then we get the exit, and everyone is so excited for them. You can feel the excitement radiating off of everybody. It's at this point that we head back to Flagstaff to talk to Robin and Cody. And I didn't think we needed this. Honestly, this was one of the confessionals I definitely could have done without. If they had missed out on their paychecks for this entire wedding special, I probably wouldn't have said boo, except there is a confessional later, and I think I really kind of enjoyed it. We'll get there. So anyway, they're still hacking away at trees, and I noticed as we're panning across an interesting part about what's sitting on Coyote Pass. An RV. And a small storage trailer. We know Janelle's not living out there at this point. Is it Dayton? Did they just move it over there to use as storage? What is going on? We're not going to find the answer. So Robin's like, I think these trees are mad at you, Cody. And, like, he aggressively was like, yeah, the trees are mad at me because they wanted to live. And I'm like, okay, are we dropping trees to fix our angries? Because hurting others isn't going to work. I mean, I tell my kids all the time, being angry and hurting someone else or something else is only going to hurt you in the long run. So we get the two sitting on the log, and Cody starts babbling about the wedding being none of his business, and he says Christine doesn't need his permission. Duh. He says his concern is for his children and how they're being treated. Fair. But I don't think there's a concern there. And he jumps back into the story that he only met David once, and he doesn't really know him, and, like, I feel like there was more opportunity to interact. Like, you would have had opportunities to interact and get to know David if you wanted. So this kind of sounds like a you problem. Also, in the one-on-one, weren't you saying that you and David were going to become besties so that he could complain about Christine to you? Like, I feel like that happened. Talked a big game about it. Whatever. So, why don't I pause to take a few notes? I paused on Robin's face at this moment, and even she is looking at him like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So he starts sort of breathing heavily when he says his honest feeling is that he wishes him happiness. He continues saying it's hard for it not to be on his mind because they were together for 25 years. And Robin starts to look actually agitated. Like, her face gets kind of set in this almost like that teeth gritting jaw. You know what I'm talking about? When the jaw tightens and you look agitated, and she starts pulling her gloves off and folding them up, and, like, she's sighing loudly. And it feels like she doesn't appreciate Cody being reflective of his time with Christine. Like, maybe he really has gotten over his anger, and now he's kind of skirting with acceptance of the situation, maybe tinged with a little bit of sadness about it. And he says he's going to keep talking as long as the cameras are there. So Robin grabs him and pulls him in for a kiss, which is pretty awkward. It seems like he's clearly enjoying it more than she is. And eyes wide open, she's shooing the camera away. The body language is just super uncomfortable. Everything seems really off. And what I think it is some people are going to be like, well, yeah, because Robin's going to leave him. He doesn't want to live polygamy. She just wants his money, whatever the excuse is that we're all giving. But I think it's deeper than that. I think Robin feels really threatened when Cody gets nostalgic for his time with Janelle, Mary, or Christine. I think she's very docile when he's angry about it. Like, we see her in these talkbacks, and he is clearly angry. He's still projecting a lot of anger, and she is, kind of leaned into herself. She speaks softer. She doesn't push back as much. Maybe a little, but not as much. But when he starts to reflect there on, we were together for 25 years and I'm having feelings, she gets visibly agitated. So, like, she kept, during the talkback, I would notice that she would kind of curl into herself and turn away, and she would have trouble looking at the TV, and she kept projecting this air of someone who needed to be rescued, somebody who needed their knight in shining armor to come and save them from the sad things on the television. So when he gets a little sad, gets a little reflective about losing Christine, she starts to get agitated and needs to take control of the situation to stop letting him think these thoughts. So physically, she uses physical affection and pulling him tighter in to kind of take control of that moment, to recenter his mind on her and her alone. And I know she says how much she wants the sister wives, but to me this feels like she really wants to be the favorite. And if she would just recognize that the reality is they left because she was the favorite, that's what they are saying to us, I think she'd realize she already has what she wants. And then we get a confessional where Robin's like, I've been questioning if plural marriage really works. And no, in my opinion, it doesn't. So we get back to the wedding and they're taking pictures, and they are doing tons of pictures. I am not joking when I say I'm pretty sure the next 10 minutes were just pictures. They're doing individual families, they're doing group shots. David's like, I want the families intertwined. Mykelti comes barging in, shouting about people moving their butts one way or the other. And my initial thought was, that's a little rude for a wedding. Maybe we should tone it down. But then people started moving, and I was like, okay, maybe Mykelti should yell at people, because apparently we're getting stuff done. So, all right. In confessional, Caleb's like, more than half the time I realized that every time we were having conversations, David's family was right there, wanting to talk to us, wanting to get to know us, that they were sharing things like, oh, you're going to North Carolina? We live in North Carolina. And Maddie was like, yeah, there would be events or places that people would want to go to. And they'd be like, well, are you going? Because if you go, I'll go. And so they were all kind of bonding together to make this bigger family. And Caleb was like, yeah, it was like, holy crap, where have you been our entire life? And it's just been really adorable watching that happen, because I feel like for Maddie and Caleb, this is my personal opinion, I feel like they've been really isolated, being on the complete opposite coast from everyone else. Sure, Hunter was in Maryland for a while, but that's still not the same thing as being in North Carolina. If you're not from the States, I think it takes probably 7 to 10 hours, depending, to get from Maryland to North Carolina. Just depending on how you drive, what the situation is. I know when we vacationed there, we stopped in Maryland, and I'm pretty sure it took us another 7 hours to get to the Outer Banks. So, it's just kind of nice to see them feel like so loved and so accepted there. And then it seems like the producer is asking the kids in these confessionals how they feel about polygamy, because Aspen says she feels differently. She doesn't think it's good for everyone, and not for her mom. She's like, in the end, it was good for Christine for a while, but she needed something different. And I know Aspen's very happy for Christine, but I feel like she's picking her words very carefully. Because if you don't know, Mitch's sister is in a polygamous family. In fact, it's a family that was featured on the show Seeking Sister Wife. I believe it's the Aldridge family that she's a part of. So I know she wants to be very gentle to her family and make sure that she doesn't say anything that's going to come across as being, really negative or hurt feelings there either. Isabel's up next, and she's like, well, yeah, they got divorced, obviously, but they had a beautiful life together. She says that she would never want to live polygamy. And she seems kind of sad when she's like, I loved growing up in a polygamous household, but perks up really quickly when she's like, I love having so many siblings and so many moms. And she's like, it was really fun, but I don't think I want that for my kids. And it's interesting to watch the roller coaster of emotions on her face. And then we get Gabe and Savannah next, and they're sitting next to her, and Gabe's like, it's beautiful for those who desire it, and Savannah's like, yeah, and for those who believe in it. But she shares she would never be able to make it work. And in the confessionals, we're seeing a glimpse of them, like, trying to get a family picture. And of course, Peyton is towering over everyone. But then I looked to the other side, and so is Mitch. Like, I had no idea Mitch was this tall. So we cut back to confessionals, and McKelty's like, yeah, in Vegas was really when my mindset on polygamy started to change. She's like, the last year with David has been so incredible for Christine, and that it became obvious that something was broken from the beginning. Something was wrong from the very beginning. And she says confidently that she thinks polygamy is a terrible idea, but she was blessed to grow up in the family she did because she loves having her siblings and her parents. But that no one got what they needed out of a marriage. And she points out she's only been married for 7 years, but she knows what she deserves and what her moms deserve and what her dads deserve. And she doesn't think polygamy is what anybody deserves. And girl, I'm coming up on being married for 7 years. I agree. I know that I came from a Kelty last week a little bit, but honestly, here she is toned down. I'm with her. So Janelle's like, it just seems right that David and Christine are getting married. They get pictures together, her and Christine and Janelle, and Janelle's getting emotional. It's so sweet. She's crying. The photographer's like, I was crying taking these pictures. And we get Mary, and she's like, I'm thrilled that Christine has David. And she's like, I'm very happy in my life. I'm very happy where my life is going. She's like, I'm happy with what I'm moving forward with. And now we know she began seeing her boyfriend in October. So depending on when these confessionals were filmed, we don't know if they were filmed, around the same time as the wedding or when they were filmed, but she could already have been seeing him. And she does say she anticipates she'll find someone. So it is possible that she hasn't yet, but if she has and she's still saying that she's looking, she doesn't know, that is so classy of her not to just drop, hey, I'm seeing somebody into this wedding episode, because the tabloids would start flying, things would just be kind of, taken out of control there. And so choosing to reveal her new relationship on a day that no one can fault her for, a day that's supposed to be about her anyway, her birthday, I think was brilliant. Nobody needed to criticize her for ruining someone else's event or someone else's day. That day was about her anyway. I think it was great. Also, it was a nice early gift to Cody, in my opinion. Just saying. So pictures are going on forever. I told you, I felt like it took like 10 minutes to take these pictures. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this event is such a big deal. And you take a huge amount of pictures. But like, how long did this go on for in real life? Because it feels like it must have gone on for just hours and hours and hours. Like, oh my goodness. And I'm starting to get antsy because I really just want to see literally anything that isn't people posing for a picture. And then we get the voiceover. And I was like, Janelle says, as time goes on, she sees David and Christine sitting in their rocking chairs on their porch with their grandkids and kids. And somewhere in the distance, I can hear Robin scowling so hard her teeth are breaking. Like, because that was Janelle's line first. Janelle said it before anybody else, that she thought that they would all grow old together sitting on the porch with their kids and grandkids. And Robin sort of adopted it from her as her tagline somewhere around season 14. Could have been slightly earlier, might have been slightly later, but it was definitely somewhere around season 14 when they started talking about the Flagstaff move, big house, all of those things. So for Janelle to take it back and say it here, brilliant. I loved it. And she continues to share that any of the children not present are obviously welcome. And I know we're very much so speaking about Robin's, but I realized at this point, this was the exact moment when I realized no one had acknowledged that Gwen was not there. And so the sentiment was like, oof. I hope that there was no unwelcomeness feeling there. Like, I don't want that to be the case. Gwen is clearly welcome. And after the pictures, Christine gives up on her shoes. And who could blame her? Because I didn't wear heels at my wedding, and I gave up on my shoes too. McKelty hugs Christine and tells her that this is the beginning of the party. The rest of her life is the party, which is such a sweet sentiment from her, because we know that that is like Christine's whole thing, is that her whole life is fun. It's a party. It's great. And then we watch them have an orange, like David and Christine eat an orange, and I have no idea where this orange came from. And I'm like, did they sneak in food? Is this a weird tradition? Why are you showing me this? Like, I could not figure out what the purpose of showing me them eating an orange was. Maybe I'm missing some context. But Hunter comes over and shakes David's hand, and he's like, it couldn't have been anyone better. He looks really emotional, and then he kind of puts on this like tough guy stance, and he's like, but I'm not calling you dad. And I am like dying laughing. I thought it was so cute. And Maddie comes in and Christine's like, yeah, he's like, Hunter's like, he's not calling him dad. And Hunter's like, jokes. So he goes over to the table and he's like, are you getting food? And Christine's like, yeah, Peyton's getting it. But just a few minutes ago, she said Aspen was getting it. So now they're either getting 4 plates of food or no food. No in-betweens here. In my head canon, that is what happened. But Aspen jumps up to give a speech. And she's like, isn't this a beautiful wedding? And people cheer. And then I don't know what was said, but then I hear people start shouting, that was McKelty. Because Aspen's like, whoa, what was that? And Aspen's like, rude. That was rude. Rolls her eyes and is like, well, that's why I'm the one speaking and you're not. And I was like, ooh, shots fired. And someone's like, sit down, McKelty. I was like, oh my gosh. I wish I heard what she said because dang, everybody is coming for her. And so I felt a little bit like, yeah, after last week, sit down. But no, she's actually been fine in this one. And Janelle shares that Aspen and McKelty are actually really close, but they constantly throw these little jabs at each other. So Aspen's like, I'm so excited for you guys. I'm so excited, but I'm excited for myself because my big family just got even bigger. And she's like, we know mom gets younger with age, but she acts like a child with you, David. And I'm like, that sounds weird. But I think what she's trying to say is that Christine's allowed to let her childlike nature come through. Her enjoyment, her happiness, her more playful side come through when she's with David. Because she points out David lets Christine be herself. And we know that was a big point for Christine in her last relationship, was that she was never allowed to just be her. So then Katie gets up and tells a story taking credit for being the reason that David and Christine got together. And she's like, I saw Christine was single. I ran into my husband's office and was like, she's single. Christine Brown's single. And she's like, how great would this be for my dad? So David says that Katie was super excited when she heard that Christine messaged him. And he's like, I did my own dating profile. Christine congratulates him on it. And I know some people have speculated that maybe this means there was some like behind the scenes collusion. I really think Katie genuinely means what she said, that by going in and putting that out into the universe, she manifested Christine pursuing David. I don't think there was some sort of weird collusion there. I just don't. I don't read into it the same way that I've seen some other folks read into it. So David's mother, Evelyn, gets up to speak, and it's short and sweet, but it's so nice. He said he'd asked her to speak, and she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to, but she decided she was going to. And Christine shares that Evelyn calls her daughter now, and David's like, oh, she still just calls me David, not son. And Christine's like, oh, how embarrassing for you. I was like, oh my word. Annie gets up and speaks about Christine being so courageous. And she says that Christine can wear her rose-colored glasses because what she sees through those is what she created. And at first I was like, I don't know what that means. Got it. What she means is the life she saw through those rose-colored glasses back in the day, she was able to actually create in real life. Makes a lot more sense to me now. Like, I was so confused. So Janelle says the scenery is beautiful, and she is not wrong. Utah has some absolutely lovely natural views. I want to see them. Honestly, I really, really would like to see it. And Christine and David get some more pictures together. And Janelle shares that the fact that the two are so openly affectionate seems to kind of be healing that wound that Cody inflicted. And she actually uses the word inflicted. And Janelle's like, Cody was saying very hurtful things about not finding Christine attractive, and that as she's talking, she's getting angry about it. She's like, nope. And she swears, a little bit here, but she's like, they were together for so long. They have 6 children together. So it's not true. It's not true what you're saying. But David's kind of come in and fixed that. And Christine can finally feel loved, seen, attractive. She's like, it's come to this very nice, happy ending here. And Mary agrees that Christine deserves to be happy, especially after the last few years where all of the things that Cody was saying are coming out into the open. Mary, you deserve to be happy too, especially after all the things Cody was saying are out in the open. So we get a Cody confessional, and he has still got those Mayor of Whoville curls that he had before. I don't know who pinned this man's hair up, but you gotta fix the curls or you wind up looking like the Mayor of Whoville. Listen, I have curly hair. Okay? And when I do it, it happens to me too. You gotta fix it, bro. But he tells us how Christine put a lot of emotional energy into finding her soulmate, and that she did something magical that drew her that experience. And so either his PR team is working overtime, or he's about to go all 1600 Salem on us and accuse her of witchcraft. I'm not 100% sure. It could go either way. But he says he thinks they may be that match made in heaven, and he hopes they have a wonderful day. PR team. So Christine and David reveal they took dance lessons for their first dance. And Christine's like, I don't care how I dance. I just want to have fun. And David's like, I just didn't want to look like a dork. And so he's like, I just focused on you and it made me feel really comfortable. And he brings up Evelyn for a mother-son dance, but Christine knows that Rex is not going to be up for a daddy-daughter dance. So instead, they decided they were going to bring her daughters in to dance with her. And then they slowly started bringing in David's daughters, the daughters-in-law, and pretty much just every woman at the wedding until they had pulled everybody on the dance floor and were just having a huge party together, which is so super sweet. And Hunter's like, Christine has this positive feedback loop where everyone's just having fun. I'm having fun, you're having fun, we're all having fun. And so we pull back, and there's Christine, and she is dancing with Evie. She's just holding her, dancing. Oh my gosh, it was so sweet. So Gabe's like, I don't think I've ever seen Christine this happy. He's like, it's not a slight to my dad. They gave it a hard go, and I really do think they did love each other. But sometimes this is how things go. And he's like, I'm so reassured this is right for Christine after seeing how happy David makes her. And Christine's like, of all the weddings I've been to, for all the kids, all the cousins, the dancing is what seems to be everybody looks forward to the most. And Mary says, in the Brown family, you know that family we all recently extracted ourselves from? Okay. There was always a lot of dancing. And then Cody's like, yeah, now I feel left out because I'm missing the Brown family mosh pit. Well, bud, I guess it is kind of the Brown family mosh pit. I guess. And then Robin. This is the confessional. I was like, oh, maybe we did need them to get this paycheck. Because Robin goes, yeah, Cody's always like he wants to go dancing, but I think we need to get dancing lessons because I become the pole and he just dances around me. That's low-hanging fruit I'm not going to touch. So Christine grabs David and everyone's gathered around them, and slowly she realizes that their movements are coordinating and they're doing like a giant flash mob around them. Super adorable. And I love seeing Annie so excited to be a part of it. She's like jumping up and down. She's hooping and hollering. She is just glowing with happiness and pride for her daughter. And listen, I'm about to be a butthead here because they're going to cut the cakes. I am not a fan of these cakes. Whoever thought, you know what would make this cake better? No frosting. That's a lie. There is no place on God's green earth that making a cake and not putting frosting on it and just showing me the ugly insides of the cake is going to be a good choice. I'm a frosting snob. I only make my own frosting because it has to be just right. I'm not going to lie. I will tolerate, I will never enjoy store-bought or anyone else's frosting. I have to make my own. That being said, if someone was like, hey, you know that thing that it took you months to perfect, that you have gotten all of these flavors in your head, you know the exact ratios, you know how to make it perfectly. Hey, could you just not put that on that cake? Absolutely not. Go away. You're not getting the cake then. Like, you don't want cake. Because okay. Anyway, I'm saying all of this to distract from what's going on screen because there's some cake sharing, if you will. Good Lord, guys, your family is here. And so McKelty calls them out, and she's like, save something for tonight. And was met with an, oh, we are. And I was like, oh, Christine, for the love of God. So we get to, she tosses her bouquet, and David's sister, Tammy, catches it. And I'm not even joking. I was like, this lady looks so familiar. So I paused it, trying to figure out who she looks like. And then I realized she looks like one of my absolute favorite Disney characters, like a secondary character. Y'all, she looks like Edna Mode from The Incredibles. And I love Edna. She's so sassy and she's talented. She listen, I love Edna, so by extension, I automatically like Tammy. Just saying. So Savannah shares that she had a lot of fun at the wedding. And Gabe's like, for the first time in a long time, it felt like the real Brown family was back. And I know the Robin fans are going to look at this and be like, yeah, see, they never did accept Robin's family. It was all true. This is the second time somebody said something they're going to use that for. Listen, I think the other meaning here is that they were able to let loose and just be them. There were no extra rules, no fighting, no none of that. They could just be together and be a family. So we get some clips of the dance party, and there's like lots of partying happen. People are definitely dancing. And then we get a shot of Hunter just unbuttoning his shirt, and I'm like, you know, whatever. If that's how he rolls, whatever. What is going on here? But we get a special dance for David from his friend, Jared. And I was like, okay. I won't lie. When both Jared and Christine decided to give David this little dance, I was like, ooh, can we move the children out of the circle, please? Like, I got uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. I was with Janelle. It was weird. It's their wedding. They can do what they want. But apparently some of the kids felt like it was too much, too. And Corbin sums it up best with, it's hard to believe she was religious for all those years. I think they kind of forgot people were there. I think so too, Corbin. So we flash back again to how AUB plural weddings are not celebrated. Plural wives just don't have parties. And so David's like, so you see me and you're like, we're going to have a big party. Yeah. And Gabe's like, it felt really wholesome. And he felt very complete to have everyone there and be around family again. And he's like, this is something we haven't had in a really long time. And Hunter's like, Christine had a really great time and she finally got that fairy tale wedding she's always wanted. And you see how many people were there and how loved they are. And Maddie points out it was a destination wedding. Now, I will say this. David and Christine are already in Utah, so maybe you could say that and maybe not. But for everyone else, it involved a lot of travel. Right? She had family come from Idaho. She had family come from North Carolina. She had family from Nevada, from Arizona, from all over the place. I know some of these states are close, but that's still a lot to ask. And these people traveled for her. So the glow sticks they have lighting up the walkway as they exited actually looked really lovely. I thought that was so fun. And he's like, I feel like I've known you my whole life, David says to Christine. And Christine's like, it was a dream come true. And he's like, I was single for too many years and it's awesome to have you. And Christine's like, I was sharing for too many years and it's awesome to have just you two. So Christine has that fairy tale that she deserves. And who knows what's going to happen next. But that's everything for this wedding. So remember, I am starting my rewatch in the next long video. That should be episode 1. I've already watched several episodes. I've been taking notes diligently. Like Cody's magical ring that is in certain shots and then suddenly not in the next shot. So you can kind of see where things may have been shot more than once. Number 1. Number 2, it is not in the couch confessionals in episode 1 at all. I have checked every couch confessional more than once. It is not in the couch confessionals, but it is in random shots throughout episode 1 and then is in almost every shot of episode 2. Very strange. Actually, I think that's a good reason to think that the wives were telling the truth since it sporadically shows up. I also been taking notes on how similar some of the kids are then to now. It's just really adorable. I do have some silly things in the works, like I'm thinking about building the Vegas cul-de-sac in The Sims. Maybe I'll give you guys a short, like condensed build video for that, for anybody who's interested in The Sims and interested in seeing how that translates. And I might be able to give you a few updates on how Graham is settling in. But until then, that's really all I have for you guys. I can't wait to see you soon, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.